darling viewers, it's Jen here at Check Her Joy, and this time I am reviewing Saucer Savage Planet by Stephen Coonts. This is the third book in a series. The first book is Saucer, and the second book, Saucer the Conquest. And I have only read the third book, so that's what I'm reviewing. It does a good job of catching you up. There was never a point where I was confused or didn't understand what was happening, so you could totally do what I just did and jump in and read book 3. I can't tell you whether or not you should read books 1 or 2 since I haven't read them myself. I will say that this book felt complete enough that I don't feel a need to go back and read the other 2. I was able to enjoy this on its own. So, in this world, Rip Cantrell has discovered a flying saucer in the Sahara, and there is also another saucer that crash-landed in Roswell. It went into government control, but has recently not been in government control. So the Earth knows that there are aliens, and that they have advanced technology. And we also know that they must be similar enough to humans, because humans can fly their spaceships that are controlled by telepathic circuitry. Like, you put on this headset and then think what you want the ship to do, and it does it. That's what happened in the previous books. This book focuses on Adam Solo, who is an alien who has been stranded on Earth for 1,000 years. And we meet Adam as he is trying to steal a saucer. So there is this pharmaceutical executive who wants a look at the ship's computers. He is convinced they must have an anti-aging drug because they are similar to humans, and so there must be a drug to prolong their lives because interstellar space travel would take a really long time and a normal human lifespan wouldn't last that long, and they are similar enough to us that we can control their ships. So hoping that a drug formula exists on the computer that they can turn into an anti-aging drug for humans. So the pharmaceutical exec has grand visions of making tons and tons of money off of space technology. His plans, however, are foiled when Adam steals the saucer and uses it to attempt to call his people to come pick him up. However, he finds out that the saucer he stole doesn't have a working communication system, at least not a long-range one, so he can't call home. So he ends up going to the Cantrell farm. So it is owned by Egg Cantrell, who is the uncle of Rip who found the first saucer. We also see Charlie Pine, who is Rip's girlfriend. And I love the humans. I love Rip, Egg, and Charlie. They are fantastic. Down-to-earth people who can think and have brains and are compassionate and interested in learning about aliens, which I super love. And also can reason logically about moral issues. Like, maybe giving people an anti-aging drug is not a great idea. Like, we're going to prolong our lives, but we don't necessarily have the structure to support that. Like, we're going to run out of food and housing, and so you're going to live longer, but you're going to starve to death. And we're pretty much would wipe ourselves out. Like, if we don't have the resources to sustain that big a population, we aren't going to live very long as a species. I'm digging Rip, Egg, and Charlie. I also really like Adam and exploring what it's like for an alien that has lived through Vikings and being part of a Native American tribe and fighting during World War I. I love Adam. He is charming and fantastic, and is really the reason why I read this book was to find out more about the aliens, so he did not disappoint. Most of this book is this group running from other people. The pharmacy executive wants that computer. He paid to have that ship dragged out of the ocean. He wants it back. There is major bucks on the line, and he is livid and greedy, and he is willing to sacrifice anyone and anything that gets in the way between him and that formula. We also see the president and the military and the US government as American citizens find out that there could be an anti-aging drug, and they demand it. They're like, hey, if the US government has had this Roswell saucer, you must already have that formula, so we want it. So there's tons of pressure from people, the general populace, to get this drug. So other than the main crew, my next favorite part of this book was the president. Like, it was nice to read a book where we have a president who thinks about consequences and diplomacy and tact and thinks, period. That was a wonderful break from real life for a while there. So I liked the president. I liked how he thinks of people being actual people. Like, he's not just running a government, but he is in charge of American lives. Like, actual people are affected by his decisions. But mostly my favorite part of this book was just finding out more about the aliens. Finding out about Adam's past, what it is like to go through everything, seeing everything that humans do through a slightly different lens. Also, I wanted to know what it's like for the aliens, like in the 1,000 years that Adam hasn't been there. Adam talks about he's been on Earth so long that he doesn't remember his home planet. So that just added to, okay, well, what does the home planet look like now? I was excited. I really wanted the aliens to come pick him up. Wanted to meet the aliens. So this book, I gave a 3-star rating. It's entertaining, interesting. I enjoyed the time I spent with it. I'm not madly in love with it, though. I don't have a strong urge to go back and read the other 2 books. If there was another book in the series that explored the aliens more, I would pick that up and read it. But I don't need to find out this. I don't need to read the story about the saucer getting found now that I know it's been found and what happens. There's also a lot of military, a lot of survival stuff happening in here, which is not my favorite. So that part of it dragged on for a while for me, and I wasn't terribly engaged with those parts, which is a fair bit of this book. So that part of the book also kind of dragged the rating down for me. So it's still got 3 stars. It's still an enjoyable read. Totally check it out if this sounds interesting to you. I know that some people are going to eat this book up and love it. I'm just not one of those people that is madly in love with it. Anyway, there are my thoughts on Saucer Savage Planet by Stephen Coonts. So peace out. I love you guys and keep reading. Bye.